does that do? Oh, what? There are... What? What does this do? Oh my God. What am I, new? My good God. What? Hold on. I am so sorry. This was like highlight. Welcome to the live. Let me just do the live like this. There we go. Okay, welcome to the live. It's much better. Turns out, reports showing from Friday. I'm Rob. I go live every single weekday, sometimes on the weekends. Today it's going to be a bit like church. So if you miss sitting in your own pew this Sunday, don't worry. We'll cover some Christian deity tenets of the faith. Welcome to the Radical Church of Communion, Communion of Radical Churches, the Church of Radical Communion. Welcome, comrades. I'm Rob. I go live every single weekday. And it turns out from the reports and the self-reports on Twitter, some people call it X, but Twitter, Elon Musk did another brilliant move. Another brilliant move by Elon Musk. He turned on location, so it showed where these accounts were originating from. And it turns out Americans are being gaslit by Nigerian princes, by Pakistanis, Southeast Asians, Bangladeshis, Australians. Basically, Americans are being gaslit by these MAGA trolls on Twitter that are from everywhere except for America. And we're going to get into those reports. Huge story. And if you've, been on the internet, maybe you've had that feeling. Maybe you've had the feeling of like, wow, it really seems like once you log into that virtual world, everybody's for Trump and Elon and coincidentally for the billionaire class. Sometimes you might feel like that. And I do my best here on this live stream, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, to inform you and help educate you, to give you some value and some tainment. I call it valuetainment. I try to value-tain you into understanding that the internet isn't real. And sometimes when you go into these virtual spaces, it may feel like there's all these MAGA bros and MAGA sissies everywhere, and that everyone's for what's going on. But what it's now showing by Elon Musk helping to expose the troll farms on his virtual town square, well, now it's showing that, these can be bought and paid for. These can be Russian, Nigerian, Southeast Asian, Australian. We'll get into it. Bangladeshi. I'm trying to think of all the other places I've seen. But some of these accounts that have 1 million followers, 500,000 followers, 3 million followers, turns out these MAGA, Ivanka, I'm trying to think what else, Elon, these huge accounts aren't either real or aren't American. So they're really meddling with what the kids call gaslighting. They're gaslighting Americans to believe that things that are happening are more popular than they actually are. And it totally makes sense. I've been saying this for a while, and you'll see once I get back to the comments. I don't know if anyone's commenting. Sorry, I'm just realizing that there are effects on these lives, and I had no idea. So we're gonna have a little fun today too. Spiral eyes. I gotta see what this is. Oh my God! Finally, spiral eyes. I've been wanting those for. You know what I need? A flower crown. Scary doll. Oh, yeah. Change it. Always smile. Okay, yeah. So, who said I wasn't chipper? Huh? Who said I wasn't happy enough? Oh my God, this is amazing. This is amazing. So my apologies. But you know what? The real show happens Monday through Friday. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. This is my weekend, man. Lay off. We're going to have some fun. Yeah, we're going to talk about how basically every MAGA online account that you see is probably out of Nigeria. The Nigerian princes found a new scam. Now they're hardcore MAGA, or they're Elon Musk supporters. So I just want to bring you that news because you need to be aware of it. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I really like this stuff. Ooh, cringe. What's that filter? Oh, I like this. Cringe. I could do that face on my own. Surprise. We're gonna do the whole podcast like this, the whole live stream. Let's see what doubt is. Yeah, that's doubt. That's definitely what the robots believe the face of doubt looks like. Uh, ooh, I like that. That's cool. I like that one. Let's see. Okay. So, welcome. I'm just going to keep this on because I think this is cool. Thriller. All right, guys. So, welcome. I'm Rob. This is my show. This is my live stream. Oh, Sugar Ray Leonard. I should have. I'm so sorry because Bunk Bed Coffin, local grunge artist. Grunge is still alive, and local artist here on YouTube, Bunk Bed Coffin, link in the description, gave me permission to use his music on my show. I hope to do this show, so just so you know, the big vision, if we can hit 10,000 people and I can start making $10,000 a month, like, there was some YouTuber that promised that. It's so funny, these YouTubers that don't have, that kind of weight to their channel, but they're selling courses of like, want to make $10,000 a month. It's like, yeah, who doesn't? Wait, I got to pay you to do it? Get the fuck out of here. You ain't making that. But the big grand vision for this show is to treat YouTube like an internet or the internet's public access TV station. So my great grand vision that I see, I look out, 1 month, 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. And the grand vision is I host the morning show here on YouTube. And then we go over to the Majority Report with Sam Cedar. And then he cuts over to the other midday guy, Valenti Vids. And then, of course, after Valenti Vids, you got Hassan Parker, the god of the alt-left pipeline. And then after Valenti Vids, you get your, some more news. If you've ever watched them, they remind me of like your 5 p.m., 7 p.m. hard-hitting news in a satirical format, of course. So that's the grand vision, but I can't get there without you. We need the audience, so I appreciate you. LMFAO was a great band, but you said LMAO. What's a foreign MAGA troll? Thank you for asking, Eric. We're gonna, wait. What? What is that? Why can't I get, is it because I have a filter on? That's why. Hold on. There we go. Now I got it. Oh, so I can't do the green screen and the filters. So we're going to get to the story. If you're not on Twitter, God bless you. It's a virtual wasteland of absolute filth. And there are still some reporters and some people who stayed on, like myself, after the MAGA Elon takeover. And Elon just made it a mess. It's really just a cesspool of racism and MAGA bots. But a foreign MAGA troll is what you see here. Ultra MAGA, Trump 2028. Now, until Friday, that's what you would see. And these people would be pumping out Trump propaganda, Elon propaganda, these accounts. And then on Friday, Elon Musk unleashed a new feature called Location. And it lets you know where the accounts are based out of. So as you can see, the Ultra MAGA Trump 2028 account was based in Nigeria. And it turns out there was a whole lot of these. A whole lot. The Dodge father, Tesla, Elon Musk, Tesla, Elon something, Elon's private chat. Look at all these Nigerian, Ghana, Nigeria. Look at all these accounts. And it turns out when you're dealing with some of these people, look at that. Hold on. Look at that. MAGA warrior, right? And some of these accounts are pretty big and influential in Twitter. but they have sway to convince people that things are way more popular than they are. And now, if you've been a subscriber, please do hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. You'll get notified when I go live every single weekday and sometimes on the weekends. But I've been saying this forever, especially about Elon's takeover. Said if you look at Elon's account, he has like, I don't know, 40 trillion followers. You know, oh, hold on, don't peek. Elon has 40 like gazillion followers, right? And then he'll tweet something. He mostly just retweets shit. But if he ever has a genuine tweet, it will get like 30,000 likes. And I'm like, that's not even a 0.00% of your followers. It's hysterical. Because you think if if his followers were real people, if that was like organic growth, you know, and not just him buying the company and then going, have everyone follow, force everyone to follow me, make all these bots to follow me so I look way more popular. And people buy into this shit because they don't think about it and they just see it and they go, oh, wow, of course it's Elon. Of course he has the same amount of followers as he does money. But I've been saying, like, that doesn't make sense. If you had an organic growth, that means you're getting a lot of interaction, a lot of engagement. A lot of people are seeing and liking your stuff so much that they follow you, right? Anyone that's been on the internet for more than a day would understand that. But his tweets and retweets get like nothing, like a 0.0 something percent of engagement. So it never made sense. But now we're finding when Elon Musk, another brilliant move. I love when the billionaires put themselves in the spotlight and make these calls because it really exposes that they didn't earn their billions and they're definitely not worth it. Because if you know, he knows his platform. He knows these are not real accounts. He knows his followers are not real. He can easily have people disseminate that information to him. But the fact that he said, we're going to do account-based location services for all the accounts. And then it quickly exposed all these MAGA warriors not based in America. South Asian MAGA, the South Asian Make America Great Again gang. We knew this. Most of us here, if you're a subscriber to the channel, you probably already understood this and you didn't even need to have Elon self-report this stuff. But it's just funny, you know, this one in Spain, this is a huge Elon Musk supporter. He's come after me a few times. Australian, not even an American. This MAGA account, Papua New Guinea. The Russian army is actually in India. Ivanka Trump. This one is fun. And we're going to get into a little story, but I just want to address this. This Ivanka news account, I think it has like 1 million followers. Nigeria. So Americans, just so you understand what this means, these, you know, pretending to be diehard MAGA Americans who really want to have an impact and a say and sway in the politics of America, turns out to be Nigerians. The Nigerian princes have found a new scam, folks. America First. Don't look. Where could the America First account be based out of? Oh, look at that. Bangladesh. Awesome. So, I don't know. Anyone, you know, I get people, I've already understood this for a while. As soon as Elon took over, you know, there was wanky stuff happening. You know, there was real Epstein shenanigans going on behind the scenes, you know, because Elon was in the Epstein files. Jeff was bringing him to the island or something. I don't know. It's just what it said in the email. So it was real Epstein-y. But anybody else, I mean, if you just go outside and talk to people, you'd understand that, like, you know, the shit that these people push is so unpopular. And all these America First out of Bangladesh, all these accounts do is they parrot, retweet the propaganda from the White House, from Donald Trump, from Elon Musk, and they just make it seem, and that's the thing, some of these accounts are huge, right? 1 million followers. So they make it seem like this shit is way more popular than it really is. But again, people with a pulse that are in America, you can go outside, walk around and be like, oh shit, nobody's happy with the stuff that's going on. Oh, interesting. Wonder why these are. Because these are foreign agents meddling in Americans' affairs. And Elon's just allowing it. You know, just allowing this shit and boosting it sometimes. That's the funny thing. So again, I put 3 different articles, I believe, about this down below. One from the New Republic, one from the Daily Beast, and one from something else. What was it? The Guardian? I forget. But I linked this a few different sources just so you could read the different accounts and different takes from this. JP Morgan is on the list. I believe it. See, dopamine. Both sides definitely have fake accounts. But, hold on. There are these accounts like this one. This is a huge one. Huge one. That's why he said breaking. I followed this dude too. He breaks a lot of good news. Is based in India, because you would think, this is what I mean, like these people and Elon and Trump utilize these foreign agents, these bad actors, they utilize them to make their stuff seem more popular. And it will affect, you know, if you're constantly online, especially on this wasteland of a space. Where was MAGA Scope from? Oh, look at that. New 2024 in Nigeria. It's so funny to me that, like, part of me is like, you know what, I get it. Because Elon Musk also, when he took over, he made you be able to get paid from Twitter by having popular posts, which obviously, you know, incentivized misinformation, disinformation, clickbait. It incentivized like this. Twitter used to be cool because it was like you could get real-time news from real-time reporters who you understood were real, and there was a verification system that was not pay to play. And it was, you know, it wasn't perfect, but like when I was in radio, we utilized it to get interviews, find out real stuff from celebrities that we knew, you know, that we had met and knew that they were in charge of their accounts. So there was like, you know, just, it was pretty decent for what it was, you know, for a 64 character website. Now it's just a mess because anyone can buy that little blue check. And with the people at the helm, like Donald Trump, who's a malignant narcissist, pathological liar, you know, a Nepo baby tantrum thrower, and Elon Musk, who, you know, clearly was never hugged by his father, or at least not as much as his father hugged his stepsister. And if you don't know that story, Elon's dad married his stepsister. So he has a brother dad or a stepsister mom, stepsister stepmom. It's very confusing. You can understand why he's all fucked up. But when you understand those people are the ones in charge, you know, the ones that have no integrity, no moral or character, like line in the sand, friends with Epstein. We would just say that, you know, didn't mind going to pageants and being the creeps that went into the locker rooms and bragged about it. You know, those kind of people. They use these for nefarious things. Like, this is a huge account on there. So it's pretty shocking to learn that, oh, this dude's fucking in India. Like, fuck him and his take on American anything. Shut your mouth. Shut your hole. America First, with 67,000 followers, seems to be based not in the U.S., but in Bangladesh. Hold on. This isn't the beginning of this story. Oh, look at this. Mary Tiles, Texas. Where's she from? Oh, Russia. And again, this is like, this happened on Friday, okay? And as soon as all these MAGA influencers were exposed, it's sad that these people really do influence some people. You know, they make them feel, again, this is like the whole thing with Donald Trump. He came out and wouldn't disavow like racists and Proud Boys and, you know, all that shit. Said there were very fine people on both sides. And when you do stuff like that, emboldens the races to like feel okay in their own skin. And they never should. Racists should be scared. They should constantly be scared because of the fucking values they hold. So when Trump does that, you know, these people echo that. And when they're echoing that, it's an emboldening other people, other real people, Americans, to go, oh, they have a shitty take like me. And look at how big they got. Maybe I can get that big, even though I'm a moron. So it's really, you know, there's trickle downs of implications from this. But what I was getting at is Elon exposed his just genius. Remember when he was going to do the boring tunnel? And somebody, he was like, imagine having a tunnel underground, earthquake proof, that you could avoid traffic. And somebody tweeted back at him, you mean like a subway? You know, the guy's a moron if you just think about it for a second. If you just take what he says and don't think about it, oh yeah, I'm sure you think he's brilliant. But if you actually like hear what he says and think about it and go, oh, sounds dumb. How'd he get $1 billion? Or sorry, $1 trillion. Sorry, how'd he get $1 trillion? Definitely worth it. But I love that he's exposing himself as a moron, because on Friday, after he said, oh, we're going to do this new feature where the account is based out of, and all these people started going, oh shit, all these huge MAGA influencers are Russian, Nigerian, Bangladeshi, Southeast Asian, Australian, I don't even know where else. He shut the feature off. So it wasn't long. It wasn't long until he's like, oh shit, they're exposing everything. Oh my God. And it's like, well, you could have just avoided this. But of course, brilliant, brilliant. Now we know how you got that $1 trillion. Now we know how you got that trillion. Other people's work. So, shoot. Hold on. Mike Rami, good to see you. $5. Thanks for the $5 super chat. You know, that very fine people on both sides clip was edited by the media, and right before he condemns white supremacy, he didn't condemn it. I was there when it happened live. So for me, I don't know, maybe like how you got to be at least 18 to fucking get on YouTube, right? Like you at least got to be 18. But that was during his debate with Joe Biden, and I was watching it in real time, and he didn't condemn white supremacy, and that was like the big thing. He was like, yeah, I'll condemn it. So if you think that was a condemnation, it wasn't. And then I believe right after that, he goes, Proud Boys, stand back and stand by. I was watching it in real time. And this is what I mean. It's like, don't trust the internet for like all of the things that people witnessed. You understand what I'm saying? Like maybe you weren't old enough, you weren't there, you didn't watch it, and you're like, well, I read a clip that said the other clip was edited. So he really did, but he didn't. I watched it with my own two eyes. And I remember being like, holy shit, this is someone going for president telling the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by? Okay, that's definitely not condemning anything. You know, because I could easily, if I was running for president, go, fuck you, Proud Boys. You're not welcome in this country. We beat you once in the Civil War, and if we got to do it again, we'll fucking do it again. There's a condemnation. Is that hard to do? Well, I guess if you're racist, yeah, it's probably pretty tough. But thank you for the $5 super chat. Stand back and stand by was at the debate. Yes. Oh, thank you. That's what I was saying. $1 It was him and old Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe. It turns out little Dirty Donnie was pretty sleepy too. You see him sleeping in his office. But before I totally got off on how most MAGA influencers are, you know, Russian bots, or at least paid by Russia. What was it? Tim Pool, Benny Johnson. Was it Steven Kraut? I don't even remember. It was like that whole collective of like people who are like, listen, guys, the billionaires are really cool, down to earth people. You know, that weird take where Tim Pool's like, I voted to give Elon Musk his $12 trillion package. He earned that money fair and square while he wasn't working there and he was in the government. You know, like that cool take that he's trying to normalize and make, you know, that be the typical American take. Like, hey, well, we're worrying about egg. He should totally have $1 trillion, guys. Isn't that rebellious? You know, I'm anti-establishment. I think all the biggest corporations shouldn't pay taxes and get paid whatever they want while their employees suffer and want to buy one egg. Weren't all those people paid by Russia too? So, I mean, it's all like, you know, par for the course. Because you can't be pro-American and be like, I want workers to not have to worry about healthcare, you know, get their healthcare through a job. We should just have universal healthcare. We look at the VA, we look at Scandinavian countries, and we set up a system like that for all Americans. So that if you can't work, you're disabled, you can't hold a job, something happened to you, don't worry about it. You still get healthcare because we're in the richest fucking country in the world. That's a pro-American take. A pro-American take is like, we want to fund the Department of Education and revamp the education system. So we teach about taxes. We teach a course on Nancy Pelosi's stock trading. We teach kids CPR and life-saving techniques. We teach kids trades if they want to. You know, that's pro-American. And we never gatekeep information and education. Why would you gatekeep that? Do you not want to be the smartest in the world? I'm pretty sure like every year they have rankings on the best colleges. Why wouldn't we want to rank among the smartest people in the world? They're not like, hey, here's the dumbest colleges, you know? Again, it's weird, but somehow we've been co-opted. Americans have been gaslit by Russian accounts, Bangladeshi accounts, Nigerian princes, I'm guessing. I'm guessing the Nigerian princes are, facing a recession, so they're like, hey, we'll just be MAGA. The pro-American is like not wanting Americans to have to go to GoFundMe, calling Uber instead of an ambulance. That's pro-American. So yeah, the bots are all over the place. Unicorn in slabs. Love that name. Don't know what it means. But you see this account, hold on. There's more. Where's like the... This is total Armageddon for the online right, wrote law student, left-wing influencer Mackay Efron. Irfan. Looks like half of their large accounts were foreigners posing as Americans. Let me go back to... Oh, yeah. So, see, this is the Daily Beast one, but they... I'm so sick of all these corporations like fucking gatekeeping information. I won't pay for it. And I think it's stupid because like if you just scroll up and down, there's banner ads, there's pop-up ads, there's fucking scrolling ads, there's all these ads. And it's like, guys, how much money do you need? Just let me read the information. And the funny thing is if you go to like Yahoo, this is on Yahoo, that's what I linked down below. Yahoo just took the Daily Beast's whole article and just put it on their thing. So never pay, folks. Just skirt around it. These corporations, fuck them all. All right, so it says Elon Musk's social media site X has rolled out a new feature in an effort to increase transparency. Awesome. All for transparency, especially when it comes to exposing these MAGA influencers as foreign fucking agitators. And unwittingly revealed that many of the site's top MAGA influencers are actually foreign actors. This new About the Account feature, which became available on Friday, allows others to see where the account is based when they join the platform, how often they have changed their username, and how they downloaded the X app. Upon rollout, rival factions began to expect just where their online adversaries were really based. And it wasn't looking good for MAGA. This is easily one of the greatest days on this platform. I would debate Harry Sassone. Because Harry, I got a video on my channel of when Elon Musk took over and he said comedy is legal, if you don't remember. Hold on. Just in case you don't believe me, I was there for that interview too. I remember when he said, make comedy legal again.
Legalize comedy.
Legalize comedy. You know, the Democrats, they wanted to like make comedy illegal. It was a whole interview. It was hilarious because I'm like, nobody's done that. If anybody has wanted to make comedy illegal, it's the right. You know, they're the highly offended by people saying Charlie Kirk was a racist and fuck him. You know, like, and even any jokes about it. Like, I heard Charlie Kirk lost the gun debate by a long shot. Oh my God. Oh, they fucking get so upset. You guys probably don't even remember who Charlie Clan was. He was this grifter. Anyways, but the greatest day on Twitter, I made a whole video about it. It was when Elon took over and said comedy's legal again, and everybody started changing their handles and changing their names to like big accounts, like Chiquita. Someone pretended to be the Chiquita Banana account, and they said we haven't overthrown a country since like 1950 something. They affected the stock market when they took over the insulin maker and said insulin's free from now on. Just kidding. People were making... I have a whole video because it was such a great day. I said I have to document this for, children of the future to understand how great this day was. But I guess this could be the second best day. So then Harry Song, who I don't know who this is, said, seeing all these MAGA accounts get exposed as foreign actors trying to destroy the United States is a complete vindication of Democrats like myself, many on here who have been warning about this. And I would say, I'm not a Democrat, but I would say for leftists too, because leftists really care about the country, not like these fake Democrats. The Democrats don't give a shit. You think if you're voting all blue up and down the ticket, we're getting universal health care? Give me a break. They don't care. They're still corporate puppets. They're just not as bad as, like, the right-wing grifters who will not condemn white supremacy, will never give you health care. In fact, they're working to take it away from you. They'll triple, double, quadruple your premiums and still starve you of egg. So, there is a difference between the two. The Democrats have some kind of decency of, like, to not rip away your healthcare. But again, in a leftist world, we think healthcare is a human right. And in the wealthiest country in the world, no one should be dying of lack of access to healthcare. So there's a huge difference between the Republicans, the diet Republicans, or Republican Zero, or Republican Light, whatever you want to call the Democrats, and then leftists. Us leftists are like, we kind of, well, at least I do. I believe in what Christ said. Love your neighbor unselfishly. I don't want my neighbor to have a GoFundMe in case they get cancer. They shouldn't worry about money at that point. Life is a little too precious. But somehow you guys have all been duped by capitalists to just think, oh, if I work hard enough, then, if I get some kind of illness, I can just pay for it. We have the technology, folks. Oh, Christ. So let's continue on. Hold on. If you're Canadian and pro-MAGA, let me just say, I feel bad for your neighbors. Because you know what pro-MAGA means, right? You understand. It means you don't care about health. In fact, Donald Trump, like years ago, said, I have concepts of a healthcare plan. And it turns out the only thing he put in for a healthcare plan in his bill was to kick people off. So to be pro-MAGA, you really got to have a screw loose or something, or just hate your neighbors so much, because it means nothing besides the wealthy get wealthier, that they, just basically loot and plunder our government while people suffer, while people are fearing for their premiums that are tripling and quadrupling, while they still can't afford egg, while the tariffs have closed down local businesses, while you pick fights with your neighbors, Canada and Mexico, while you send the military, or try to send the military onto the streets, while you have a private police force breaking the law and violating human rights left and right, and then you start picking random wars with South America. Like, to be pro-MAGA at this point, and the topper, but also the only thing that you need to say to me, is Donald Trump was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein for 15 plus years. He was so close of friends, he wrote him a fucking poem that we all know about now. And Joe Rogan even read some of it.
Enigmas never age. Have you noticed that? And Jeffrey, as a matter of fact, it was clear to me the last time I saw you.
Like, just that alone, just the misogyny and sexism involved in MAGA is enough for me to go, never could I support that. Like, not in a million years, Like, yeah, Bill Clinton's in the Epstein files. Donald Trump was best friends with fucking Epstein. Like, fuck both those guys, but there is a little bit of a difference. So, just a weird take, But again, there you have it. Another Canadian pro-MAGA account. It's like, okay, fucking, you can have Donald Trump. Take him to Canada. You can have all the shit that he brings with him, Just get ready for your taxes to go up, for you to lose that national health care, for him to shut trade off in your country. There were articles that I didn't even go into for the news today, because I said it's Sunday, I'm not doing this shit, where it's like a South Carolina or North Carolina guy who had a lumber mill for like 50 years or something. No, it wasn't for 50 years. He had a lumber mill, and he had to close down because of the tariffs, and he lost 50 employees. And I'm like, I'm sure that affected the whole town. You're talking about the Carolinas and a lumber mill. I'm like, I'm sure that those repercussions are not only the people who lost their jobs, but their kids, and then the families, and everybody who depended on their incomes in the local economy. It's like, it's such a fucking disaster. So to say you're pro-MAGA, it's like, listen, man, That's fine. You should be counting your blessings that you have a national healthcare system. I don't give a shit how long your wait is. You know, I talk to people who, if they got cancer, they lost their fucking home. So I would just, be counting your blessings. But really, this like isn't the live stream for you, unless you want to open your ears and your mind to considering humans being something to have empathy towards. This just isn't going to be the show for you. I'm going to be very blunt and very clear, because when I talk about homeless people, whether it be veterans or citizens, and when I talk about the less fortunate, the people who are working minimum wage jobs, and when I talk about those people and say those people should not be suffering in life just because they didn't make enough money, just because they had something wrong and it tumbled them down that hole. Those people that are working full time that still have to get SNAP, even though they're working for some of the wealthiest people in the world, the Walton heirs. If you work at Walmart full time, you're still probably on SNAP, getting assistance from the government for food. And that means we're not really giving you the assistance, we're giving it to the richest people in the world, because they won't pay you enough, even though you're making them even wealthier. When I talk about them as, they should be treated not only like humans, but they should never have to suffer when you're in the wealthiest country. And all we have to do is, not let the wealthy have all of the shit. We just tax them. These people freak the fuck out. They call people working a full-time job lazy. They call people with disabilities entitled. They say all this whack shit. And that's why I've known in my heart of hearts, because I have faith in people, that, if you were confronted with, a homeless family that was hungry by no fault of their own, private equity came in, consolidated everything in the region, then, stripped the company for parts and sold it off and bankrupted it. And that father, whatever happened, and then the mother and whatever happened, and they end up homeless, like by no fault of their own. They weren't lazy or entitled or anything, but MAGA thinks that. Those people should still have the safety nets where no family has to go hungry or lose their housing. And we can do that. We can set up a society to protect that. But, MAGA just, that's why I just know there's some bots, because I would like to think anyone faced with that would be like, yeah, of course. Like, of course. Oh, and how would we do that? Oh, Elon Musk wouldn't just have $1 trillion. Okay, yeah, we could tax him and, create safety nets. Oh, yeah, I'm fine with that. So it's got to be like the bots. There are definitely bots, or not only bots, but like, let's see, you're in Canada. You don't give a shit about Americans. You're in Nigeria. You're in Russia. And you're like, oh, I can sow some agitation there and make them hate each other. Oh, yeah, I'd love to sow that discord. So that's why, I've known this for a while, and it kind of, ignores some of this stuff. Yeah, you see some dude in here. I'm just going to fucking, he's going to get put in timeout for at least 30 minutes. I meant to hit 24 hours. But, he was saying Epstein did nothing wrong. And it's like, if you're going to take the side of the predators and ignore all the victims and all the survivors and all the evidence and all the depositions and all the presidents in power that were best friends with him and bragged about how he liked women younger, then you're just going to get fucking muted. Are we clear? Awesome. You should, I'll advise you is, if you're so proud of these takes, you go to your channel. If it's not just some throwaway troll account, go to your channel and you do a live stream. You make a video where you can repeat that. We're in America. You're free to do it. You're really proud to type stuff like that, type stuff like that on your troll account. But I challenge you to go make a video just saying that, just like you did in my comments. Just on repeat. Just keep saying it again and again. I'm sure you get a lot of likes and a lot of fucking clicks. Morons. Okay, so look, here's a MAGA nation, right? You'd see that, you'd see this, and you go, wow. 392,000 followers. What a true American. And then you just got to look down here and you say, oh, based in Eastern Europe. Oh, there we go. True American based in Eastern Europe. And I'm sure if we looked at his tweets, I'm not going to waste my time, but if you want to, here it is, MAGA Nation X. I'm sure his tweets are always, just civil and fucking good for the American people, standing strong with President Trump. Well, he's not your president, okay? Like literally, you're in Eastern Europe, you liar. America first, patriot voice for we the people. And a lot of people have been tricked by this. That's why, even though it's Sunday, it's in the year of our Lord 2025. It is Sunday. It is a day of the Christ Jesus, the Nazarene, as he was referred to. Old Lil Jesus was his hip hop name. When he was in his teens, he was going through this hip hop phase. You know, he's like, yo, I'm Little G's. But he grew up like we all do. Like we all do. He didn't die though. Well, he did, but then he came back. So, you know, he's the only guy who walked this earth, got to yell, we're going to live forever. And, you know, no one could give him a hard time. So even though in the day of our Lord, Sunday would, I think it used to be Saturday because Jesus was Jewish and I think Saturday was the Sabbath. But even on Sunday, I come and bring you this vital information so you can understand. If you go to Twitter, I refuse to call it X, and it feels like, you know, these bad takes and these really poisonous and toxic opinions are everywhere. Just know, yeah, because there's a lot of foreign actors spreading the word on President Trump's behalf. But it is Sunday, and I wanted to share with you the verse of the day. We're going to get back to some news. We'll keep covering it. But I got sidetracked because right away someone was like, what's a foreign MAGA troll? And I was like, oh. One of my favorite things to do is I spend all day. It was snowing here today. And I was out in the deep, deep jungles, the snow jungles, which are very exotic and very rare. And I was out in the deep snow jungles with my Siberian lynxes. I have a whole pack of Siberian lynxes, and we go out into the deep snow jungles. And through all the snow, there's special news fruits that only blossom in the first snow of the year. And I go out and I pick and pluck and work till I'm absolutely exhausted, picking all the snow fruits so I can put them in the little saddlebags on my Siberian lynxes. And I go, come on, I do a special whistle. And all the Siberian lynxes follow me back here to the World Wide Web, where I can deliver the best and juiciest news to use. So hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Yeah, and there are some rules for the thing. If you're going to say stuff like white nationalist, Jesus rules, like that guy who I just muted for 24 hours. If you're going to be racist, homophobic, transphobic, misogynist, sexist, you know, any kind of that stuff, I don't tolerate it here. What I will advocate for is I think everyone, well, not racists and not dickheads, but I will say you clearly have your own YouTube account. You can go say all this stuff. You can put your face on the internet and say those proud words that you like to type into my chat if you're not a chicken shit coward. So go and have your takes be espoused on your channel. Don't go into my comments after I mute you for 24 hours and go, this guy banned me for speaking truth. Because you know what? When I read that, I go, oh, what a stupid little dummy. Poor idiot, poor little idiot. He doesn't know he can hit record on that thing he's typing on, and he can just record whatever he wants to say, and he can put his views out there. That's the thing about America that Donald Trump and Elon Musk hate. They do not like dissent. They do not like people that disagree with them. They need a safe space at all times. But while we still are the land of the free, just, you know, they want to regulate women's bodies and tell you who you can, can't marry. What's free about that? But instead of typing it in the chat like a little puss, like a little Puss in Boots, why don't you go make your own channel? You proud little racists. Why don't you go do that? You're scared to put your, you know, you could wear an ice mask and hide your face if you're a coward piece of shit. CJ, good to see you. I do not live in New York. I have family there. And of course I would have fucking voted for Mamdani. Of course. Are you kidding? How come? What I don't get is the people who are like, oh, Mamdani. He promised to lower grocery prices and give you a free bus ride there. If you voted for Trump last year, Mamdani did him, one-upped him. He said, yeah, I'll lower your grocery prices and give you a free bus ride there. That was his promise. How could you be against that? Oh, wait, is it because the color of his skin and religion? Oh, that's right. There's racist people. That's right. I forgot about that. I forgot. Because you'd think all of MAGA would be like lower grocery prices with the free bus ride. Awesome. Even if you don't live in New York. So it's funny. But then when you think, oh, He's a different color. That's right. I forgot Meg is very sensitive. They need a safe space from anyone different than them. CJ, very good to see you. I'm glad you could make it here on this Sunday. On this Sunday Eve. We're talking about how, CJ, you know this. It's a trap! Online, the X, known as Twitter, Elon Musk took over. Friday, he unveiled another brilliant plan. Let me just tell you. Smashing Elon. Keep coming with the brilliant ideas. Just like when you didn't do this, but when you promised the Boring Company, when you were like, imagine having no traffic and being underground in this futuristic thingy that avoids traffic. And someone was like, you mean like a subway, you fucking moron? Keep coming with those good ideas. You're a good boy. Good boy, Elon. We know your dad hated you. But I suggest, Elon, you keep coming with these ideas because they're only helping. Not helping like you would think, but they're only helping. But CJ, we're talking about how Elon's idea to show where the account was based didn't do so good for MAGA. Turns out a lot of them are not based. Nigeria, Russia, India, a lot of these MAGA America First accounts, Bangladesh, Nigeria. Ivanka Trump from Nigeria? I want to see your birth certificate. This is like a news account, though, for it, just so you know. But it is Sunday in the year of our Lord. So let's take a moment. Especially some of you. If you're wearing the cross, and out there saying MAGA, you really need to understand some of this stuff. Because Jesus, I can't wait till Satan calls Trump back and Jesus goes, get away from me, Satan. I don't know you. He ain't going to heaven. Psalms 23:4. Even though I walk through the sunless, I love how they add sunless. That's why I do the AMP version of the Bible. Even though I walk through the sunless valley of the shadow of the death, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod to protect and your staff to guide, to comfort and console me. Psalms written by King David are his poetry, his songs. And then some of them are quite beautiful. But I love this. This was today's verse, so I wanted to share it with you. Fear no evil. If God is for us, who could be against us? You know what I'm saying? And then MAGA. Pay close attention. Pay close attention to this one. And you're going to see there's no little asterisks, okay? Jesus answered. So you know when it's red, that's the good Lord speaking. This is the second. You shall unselfishly love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other greater commandment than these. No asterisk. Love your neighbor. Don't call ice on them. Fuck ice. Trump water failed. Yeah, there's a lot of things. I put some more news on Friday's live. Some more news, the YouTube channel. I link them in the description because they did a whole long ass video, which is so good because they did it breaking down all of Donald Trump's grifts and how they relate to his previous failed business acumen reputation. Really, Donald Trump just is a Nepo baby. And he's not good at anything because he didn't write his book, The Art of the Deal. The only thing he's good at is making people believe his lies. That's really like his one talent. A through and through grifter. Because, he failed the water business. He used to have Trump steaks. He had an airplane. He had a couple casinos. He bankrupted casinos, Need I say more? So lucky for him, he had a rich daddy, Donald Trump. What do they say? He was born with a silver spoon up his butt or something? Something like that. There's a saying. Okay, so back to the... Okay, where were we? With the fake... So we're talking about how Elon Musk, brilliant idea, said we're going to put where the Twitter account is based out of. We're going to put their location. Was not a good move. They immediately took the feature off. You know how somebody's worth $1 trillion? Their idea, once implemented, is immediately redacted. But for everybody that's an Elon fan, you're like, oh, he totally runs Tesla different. You know, running Twitter is like, that's like, you know, he's hardly even doing it. You know, running the car company is like where his bread and butter is, right? That's why they need the government subsidies. That's it. Oh, I feel bad, you know. I feel bad for Americans. It sucks because we could have such like a rad world. We really could. We could have a world like Jesus saw, you know, where people are loving each other, they support each other. They wanted to support, like Jesus would, if you work 40 hours a week, he wouldn't want you to go hungry. And Americans do, because people think minimum wage, you should still have to starve and suffer, you know? It's incredible. And it's sad because we could have such a better society if we just said, hey, guys, there shouldn't be trillionaires. Like, that's so much money. You really can't comprehend. Like, if you live from the time Jesus until now, and you live that whole time, and you got paid like 100,000 a year and never pay taxes, nothing deducted from it, you'd have to do that, I think, like, I don't know, 70 times or something to even come close to what he makes, or what he's worth. So really, like, we could come together and be like, you know, we're going to put a wealth tax in. And I don't say this frivolously. I don't. Here in Massachusetts, we did a wealth tax. And there was a story I was going to talk about where Jerry Rice paid for a bunch of students' lunch debt in the Bay Area. And it was like this feel-good story that I reshared the post on YouTube. If you hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, go to the posts tab, the community tab. I reshared it. It was like a now this impact. Jerry Rice eliminates student lunch debt for, you know, thousands of kids. I thought that's not a feel-good story, man. That's an indictment on our society. And I know that because in Massachusetts, there's no student lunch debt. No kid has to, when you send your kid to school in Massachusetts, they don't need $1.25. Well, that's what it was when I was growing up. They don't need $1.25 for lunch. You can go as a kid. It doesn't matter if your parents are working 40 hours and still get SNAP and the government was shut down, you weren't getting any food. You can go to school, get breakfast and lunch for free, and there's no debt, nothing. We eliminated student lunch debt. That's a very American term. But we eliminated it here in Massachusetts. What? What is that? Oh, you're wondering how? Oh, we taxed millionaires. 4%. We taxed millionaires. And no kid goes hungry at school. So, like, that's the solution. You know, we tax them. And guess what? I know you're worried. Oh, all the millionaires and billionaires left Massachusetts. No, they didn't. Our millionaire population grew by 38 or 39%. We brought in billions more in tax revenue than they originally estimated. It was a huge success. None of the million or billionaires left. And also, I know people who are utilizing this. If you want to get a bachelor's degree, you can get one for free at community college. So it's a wealth tax is so good for the community. And here's the other thing. The millionaires and billionaires, they're not suffering. None of them went homeless. I know some in MAGA despises homeless people. The millionaires and billionaires, they didn't go homeless. They're still eating avocado iPhones. I don't know what they're eating, but they're still eating well. They're not worried about heat like we are. They still own their homes, go on multiple vacations. They still do all that stuff. So you don't have to worry about the poor little million and billionaires some of you bots are very concerned with. And we could just have like a rad society if people would stop buying into, like this story says, these Nigerian, Pakistani, Indian, Southeast Asian, these Russian accounts that are meddling in our fucking affairs and making people believe that, yeah, there are some Americans that should work and deserve to starve or work and have to be homeless, and then these are real situations we're going through here. We don't have to do that. We could just collaboratively go, no, let's just tax the uber wealthy. They're not gonna lose their status. They're not gonna go without. If you're gonna go without, if we do a 4% tax on anything over $1 million, if you're gonna go without, if you're gonna skip meals, remember when the cereal CEO was telling us if you can't afford dinner, just eat his cereal for dinner? it's funny that they'll say that on TV. They're brazen enough. You've been propagandized enough to hear that on TV and think, oh, this is a normal society. Like, this is so fucking tapped. But instead of like rejecting that fully, be like, I reject your fucking narrative. We're going to tax you. So no family. It doesn't matter if I'm doing good or not. Like, just so collective. So the society, there aren't hungry kids. 1 in 5 Americans go hungry. 1 in 5 American children, I should say, are food insecure. That's a very American word. Food insecure. They were scared to say starving, how it would sound. So that way, when they don't talk about it on the news, it still sounds nicer. Trump administration has no merit, zero merit from day one. I'm talking about before he was president. Donald Trump, merit? If merit accounts for his dad's last name and him being pooped out of his mom's vagina, then okay, that's merit, but he's done nothing. Okay, back to the MAGA trolls are foreign agents. Just think about the foreign influence operations that are happening right now in this app. Journalist and Midas Touch co-founder Brett Mizella said in a posted video to social media about the changes. Think about the lawmakers who feel pressure by accounts like this. Think about the disinformation that spreads as a result of the accounts on here. Maybe I'll find this video and play it for you. I'm not on the Zuckerberg disinformation pages, but maybe I'll try to find this video and play it for you tomorrow. The something of fake accounts to bolster the MAGA movement is something the Center for Information Resilience, an independent nonprofit research organization, flagged during the 2024 election. Because no one could be like, you know, you got to be pretty stupid to hear Donald Trump have concepts of a healthcare plan and be like, that's the guy I want to be in charge of, you know, setting up a healthcare plan for him. I love concepts. That sounds fancy. Ooh. It's like, you just got to be out your fucking mind to be like, that's him. That's my genius. That's my everyday down-to-earth guy. Which, by the way, I shared an article about how MAGA, the facade of Donald Trump's just like us because he eats McDonald's and shits in a gold toilet, is wearing thin. With many of the MAGA influencer accounts revealed to originate in Eastern Europe or Russia, users are questioning the ongoing interference in American politics by foreign adversaries, as we should be questioning it, especially when Donald Trump invites war criminal Putin over for like a goddamn sleepover. Why are so many MAGA influencers from outside the U.S.? It's almost as if they're working for foreign governments, wrote influencer Ed whatever. I don't like that dude. You got to peek behind the curtain at just how much of the MAGA hatred is just Russian propaganda, said author and academic Adam Cochran. Donald Trump and several close associates were investigated for conspiracy or coordination with Russia during the 2016 election. Remember when I watched that one too? Remember it was like, Russia, if you're listening, it's like, that's crazy as an American to hear that and be like, oh, he's advocating for a foreign adversary. You'd think, I don't know. I can't tell if MAGA loves Russia or hates them because they always say, oh, what do you want it to be, Russia? But then they're like, you know, ooh, Russia. Well, then again, you know, Tim Pool was heavily paid by Russia. But, you know, everything that aligns, even the latest Epstein emails, where it said, where Mark Epstein was writing Jeff Epstein, saying, does Vladimir Putin have the photos? Not have photos, but does he have the photos of Donald Trump blowing Bubba? So, I mean, compromised. Certain content creators are paid for the tweets that drive engagement on the site formerly known as Twitter, which gives them a financial incentive to cash in on the divisive nature of U.S. politics. That's what I was saying earlier. Elon Musk also made that change. That, you know, with clicks for cash, they should just call it the new Nigerian print scheme, the new Russian print scheme. Clicks for cash. If you get a lot of clicks, Elon will give you cash, which obviously they can use for nefarious reasons. For those in countries like Nigeria or Bangladesh, the American dollars paid by X for their work can make a big difference to their lives. X payouts are calculated on the basis of engagement from verified premium accounts, which is so hilarious. because you have to pay him like $10 a month just to be able to make money. So if you don't make enough money, you're just paying a trillionaire to have a verified account. Another brilliant move by Elon. Oh, only the smartest moves. The Daily Beast has reached out to X for comment. Like I told you, the Daily Beast gatekept this article, but Yahoo News just posted the whole thing. I fucking love it. Solidarity, Yahoo's news. Who said you were gone? I asked Jeeves, and he said, nope, they're reposting gatekept accounts. Gatekept information. So God bless Yahoo News. And always search around, folks. If you go, this is what the article looked like on Daily Beast. I said, fuck no. You're not getting my email, or I'm not paying. I'm not paying you $1 to read this. Are you kidding me? If you remove all the pop-up ads, I'll pay you $1. But until then, like, you're doing fine. I could just look up your CEO and know that you guys aren't struggling. So I saw it like this, and wouldn't you know, I went over to Yahoo and they had the whole Daily Beast article for free. So life hack. My brother sent me this. I wanted to show you guys this. Oh, how the times have not changed. Thank you to my brother. I love you. I miss you. I wish we lived in a society that valued family values, because they don't pay anybody enough, so I couldn't even go to my aunt's funeral. It was fucking crazy, man. Oh, just get educated. I have a college degree. Oh, don't be lazy. What do you mean be lazy? I fucking work one job. I'm looking for a second. Like, these people are just so fucking Russian botted. Photograph of striking workers in Lawrence, Mass, being confronted by state militiamen in 1912. This is part of the Lawrence textile strike, which occurred in 1912 in response to pay cuts in the city's textiles mills. The city responded to the strike by declaring martial law and prohibiting public gatherings. Several striking workers were killed, including 33-year-old Anna Lopizzo, who was shot by police, the 20-year-old John Ramey, who was bayoneted. The strike drew national attention in part due to the number of children who traveled from Lawrence to other cities in order to protest and raise awareness of the working and living conditions of the factory workers. The mill owners eventually gave in to most of the demands of the strikers, although most of these conditions were ultimately rolled back over the next few years. There's the photo. So know your history. It's good. It's good to know this stuff, man. And for everybody who's, against minimum wage being $66 an hour, against minimum wage being enough to not only afford to live, but afford recreation, afford vacation, afford healthcare, afford education. If you're against that, you're anti-American, and you're pooping on all the people who died and protested and went on strike and confronted these conditions long before us. So just know that, your take to have Americans, hardworking Americans, suffer because you have some fucking feeling like it would invalue you. You have some ego like Donald Trump, like he's never worked a day in his life. And, to think that hardworking Americans shouldn't have a good life because they didn't get an education. Don't gatekeep education. Oh, well, they're just lazy. They work here. Well, why can't that fucking job? What's the difference between that job and another job? I know nurses that fucking can't afford to live. Nurses. Speaking of that, we got to get to that. Did you see there was other huge news that I really wanted to show you? So devastating. I can't fucking believe this administration. I really can't. Donald Trump signed an executive order that removed, what was it? Hold on. And this really pissed me off, because if you think nurses are, heroes like they did during the pandemic, if you think nurses are essential workers, if you've ever gotten sick, if you've ever, experienced any kind of illness before, you can thank a nurse. They're pretty vital. But that's just lip service from old Dirty Don, Epstein's best friend. Because Donald, today, I don't know when, but he reclassified nursing as a non-professional degree. That's what the U.S. Department of Education did in his One Big Beautiful Bill Act. And it's going to take It's going to change starting July 1st, 2026. And what that means, this article linked down below with another one about this stuff so you can understand, because this will affect America in a big way. Systemic misogyny, but moreover, just shitty politics. This is going to, nurses now will lose access to higher federal loan limits previously available to professional degrees. They removed it from being a professional program. Nursing students will be excluded from certain loan forgiveness programs. That's unreal. These changes create significant financial obstacles for students pursuing advanced nursing education. I don't know how this makes America great. Really. Why would you F with nurses? Especially after what you witnessed our country just go through while you were president and did nothing. This is befuddling. And we'll talk about it more. Again, it's Sunday. It's the day of our Lord, Jesus Christ. But I really wanted to bring this up because this is appalling. You're right, there shouldn't be any loan forgiveness programs. We should just not charge people to go to school. That should be included in the Billionaires Tax. We tax billionaires and we fund education. So you're right. Nobody should even have to worry about loans to get higher educated. How anti-American are you? You have to be a Russian bot. You have to be one of these Russian activists. Go on your channel and post a short saying that. Saying your take. I want to see what your face looks like. I got to see the motherfucker who thinks Americans should be as stupid as they can unless they're super wealthy and can afford to go to school. I got to see your face. I have to. Go make a short, please. And then tag me in it. Tag me in your short that says, you know, I think only the people with a lot of money should be able to go to school. That's your take. Fucking stand by it. Ugh, tired of these people, man. They're so stupid. It's like you gave fucking a bunch of, you know, immature Tim Pools the fucking comment section sometime. If you don't know who Tim Pool is, he was tricked by Russia, where they paid him like $100,000 a week or a month to make videos. And I say tricked because, you know, when your business, when your professional profession is social media, you'd figure you wouldn't get tricked with that large amount of money. If there was a big amount of money coming in to pay you to say stuff, you'd go, well, who's behind this? You know, but I don't know. He was tricked. Or it could just be a lame excuse because he saw the sacks of cash and was like, well, I want to get me paid. And if Russia agrees with my opinion, then it all works out. But it just seems like, you know, there's a bunch of fucking Tim Pool fans flooding the comments sometimes because I'm like, save your anti-American stuff for other people. Save it for other people. Here we're for the American working class. We're for Americans to get smarter, healthier, own homes, fucking have vacation, enjoy life before you hit the gravestone, okay? Maybe you'll hit the gravestone. You'll be like, net paid back his loan in full. Is that going on your grave, buddy? Okay, so this was the other thing that, you know, Donald Trump did to make America great. He fucked with nurses and those wanting to go to school for nursing. Did you guys see this? So we talked about Marge, old horse legs, Marge. She retired. Donald Trump went after her, attacked her on social media or something. And immediately there were reports of like, oh, she needs to hire private security. And we discussed that briefly here, that Marjorie said, I'm resigning. I think she's going to run for something else. But it was funny that she said, I'm resigning. I watched the whole video. She said, I care too much about my family. I'm resigned to be attacked by the president. And I had this thought, and I didn't say it, but, you know, I kept thinking, it's so interesting that, like, for 5 minutes, she disagrees with Donald and threats on her life. There's people attacking her. The president's going after her online. I thought, welcome to the world of leftists, you know, except we really disagree with him. We're really actually for the American people, and he hates anybody exposing his grift. And I thought this was brilliant. I love Jasmine Crockett. She said, honestly, I was like, you got to be kidding. You're on the other side of the president for 1 week and you can't take the heat. Imagine what it is to sit in my shoes. So what do you think about this? You know, Who needs the safe space? Who's the snowflake that Marge Green, large Marge, in charge, horse legs. She disagrees with the president and within a week resigns. Fucking give me a break. There's people who've been out here for decades disagreeing with this motherfucker. But it's unreal, you know. You should be able to live in a country where you can, disagree with the president without him personally attacking you. So that's where I'll defend large Marge in charge with the horse legs like a barge. I think we covered. Ooh, I want to show you this. Because I'll hear some people quote Leviticus at me. And I wanted to point out they're quoting the wrong Leviticus verse. Leviticus 19:33-34. Do not mistreat foreigners living in your country, but treat them just as you treat your own citizens. Love foreigners as you love yourselves, because you were foreigners one time in Egypt. I am the Lord your God. Not me. I'm saying that's, that's Ghost Jesus saying it. CJ, MTG is getting ready to run for governor of Georgia. Listen, her pivot out of MAGA, out of the loony bin and into hey, I'm believing the survivors and I'm gonna take this stand and go against the president. And then how she doubled back in her statement. If you listen to the video where she talked about that she was resigning, she said some stuff like, I forget what it was. Maybe I'll play it for you guys tomorrow. Because she said some stuff where you're doing double speak, lady. You're really politicking right here. Because she sounded like she didn't want to offend anyone, but she still wanted to come away looking like she's taking a stand for something. So I know it seems hilarious and crazy. I know large Marge in charge with the horse legs like a barge shouldn't be representing any delegation of people, but I don't ignore my gut when I get a weird feeling, and I'm telling you, she might be running for something. I feel like it. All right, guys. What else was there? I would want to talk about that tomorrow because America's just getting worse. But remember, when you see these ultra MAGA Trump 2028, we've seen it in the comments. This account based in Nigeria. These accounts, Nigeria, Ghana. So I really wanted to share this because Southeast Asia, MAGA warrior, right? This one, that's this one, huge Elon fan. Australia, this one. Papua New Guinea. Russian army, actually in India. Ivanka Trump news, Nigeria. America first. More like Bangladesh first. What are these ones? Nigeria. What is this one? Doge design. I mean, these are huge accounts. India. And they're, parading around like there's some America first, in the heart of Texas. There's such phonies, man. So I really want to push this out there because I know there's young, impressionable men, specifically the men who feel like, sometimes they see these things being retweeted by accounts with 1 million followers and all this shit. Even though if you just look at the ratios to the people that follow them versus how many likes they get, sometimes it doesn't make sense. I pointed this out with Elon. He has a gazillion D followers. And when he tweets, he gets 50,000 likes. Think about that. If you have 200 million followers and you're getting 50,000 likes, what percentage of fucking people are actually engaging with your stuff? You'd think it'd be more. So I think it's bot followers, I had an old boss when I worked in radio that his account was 70% bots. I'm like, they clearly pay for this shit, And you've seen the stories of the bot farms running 1 million phones, So just please, when you see some stuff online that just sounds out of whack, just know it's not as popular as you think. Do what I do. When you're checking out your groceries, when you're going holiday shopping, when you're, just fucking getting gas. Talk to people. I love talking to people. And I heard Hassan Parker say this the other day, and I was like, damn, I love hearing that because I do the same thing. He talked about how he doesn't just talk to Uber drivers when the live stream's on. He said, I like talking to people. I like getting a gauge for what they're feeling. And I do that often, you know? And it's amazing to me at how many old folks that are bagging groceries are supposedly in retirement, but they have to work for healthcare or to pay for prescriptions. And I'm like, damn, these are supposedly their golden years where they should be retired and they're still working. That's not the America I want. You know, and if my generation has to be the generation that says, not only do we want it better for our young folks, but we want it better for our old folks, then fuck it, I'll take that mantle on. And you should too. You know, because when I was growing up, I heard adults say, we want the earth to be better than when we had it for you young kids. And if you can read, even poorly, you'd understand that this new generation, Generation Alpha, I think it is, or Generation Z, I don't know. They're going to be the first generation in American history since something like the Great Depression or some shit. I don't know. But they're going to be the first generation in many, many eons that has had it worse, that will have it worse than their parents. And that's unacceptable. Especially unacceptable in a time of trillionaires. Trillionaires who had the brilliant idea to do a location-based account. You know, expose that. So really, folks, you know, that should be the new motto. I want it better for the younger folks and the older folks. I want it better for all of us. We can do it. We shouldn't have to fucking, you know, have this infighting. Something that benefits us all. Higher education benefits us all. Universal healthcare benefits us all. I don't care if you're a whacked out MAGA, hate your neighbor, want everybody ice-capaded away. The stuff I'm talking about benefits all of us. You will see less crime. You will see happier people. You will see better communities. You will see better economies. If we have money, we are the consumers, 70% of the economy. If we are better educated or healthier, everything gets better. I just want you to think about that. Just sit and think with that. Sit for a minute and think with that. Plus, if you believe in Jesus, he said, you shall unselfishly love your neighbor as yourself. There's no greater commandment. No greater commandment. That means that's the most important. That's what I try to preach, especially on a Sunday like this, man. On a Sunday like this. Oh, yeah, this was one of the other. After it turned out that about 2/3 of Twitter's MAGA and far-right accounts are based in Russia, Nigeria, and Bangladesh, Musk has now shut down the location feature. Brilliant. CJ, thank you for modding the chat. I appreciate you. Look at this stuff. My aunt sent me, big shout out to my aunt. I love you. I miss you. Thank you so much. My aunt sent me some relics, some history, my family history. And we had some gems in there. Look, this is a pin from the 70s. This one from the 80s. I found some ancient relics that, if you don't know, my parents passed away when I was real young. So my family history is loose and it's fast and loose and it's out there. But I have some great family members that are saving these things, and I was entrusted with the care of certain things. I was so, so grateful. And if you can save your family's history, I would do it too, because you never know, your kids might like it. I'll show you this one real quick. This is my grandfather, World War II. So I got some real gems. I was very, very excited for those gems. So wanted to share that because it was a really, really great thing to experience and to hold this history. I have these newspaper articles. Maybe I'll take some pictures of it from when my grandfather was fighting in World War II. And he was saving these articles from like 1944, 1945. So just real true history. And it's miraculous. And the cool thing is, my aunt was like, well, I was going to give this stuff to a museum. I didn't know, who was going to take it. I wasn't sure if he wanted it. And I was like, oh my God, send me it all. So it's not going to a museum. I'm going to preserve it. Start your own facts channel, Triple Trumpers. The facts are straight here. You skewed. But yeah, CJ, I wouldn't even bother with some of these Trumpers. It's the last grasps of a dying regime. My grandfather wasn't Canadian. American. But I want to share that with you because some cool history, man. And when you go through this and you read about, you know, the Allied forces and some of this magazine stuff, I don't know if it's safe for YouTube because I talk about some of the tribunals and the repercussions of the fascists being found guilty and rounding people up. Really fascinating stuff. I mean, the magazines were, the papers were like brittle, so I got to figure a way to preserve it. But, you know, they're talking and there's photographs of these firing squads for the fascists from World War II in Italy. And it's just fascinating. And you think, God, you know, hopefully this history isn't lost on people, what we went through with the charismatic world leader that, you know, thought he was the answer and he should make all the rules and no laws apply to him. You know, it's a dangerous stuff that MAGA's teetering with. And they just think because of the skin color or because of their location, that won't affect them. But it will, man. It will. You got to be careful, you know, playing with fire. Nuremberg, yeah. God, listen, Peter, I know you're just humping in here for Trump, but I don't need to give you any reasons why I hate Trump. He was best friends with Epstein. And if you as a grown man can't see his relationship with Epstein and think that's not someone who should be in charge, it's not someone who should be, you know, not held accountable. Like, that dude should be held accountable. But, like, get out of here. Go make a... Peter, stop fucking harassing me on my channel. Go, you have an account. I know it's your troll account. Go make videos of what you love about him and all the great stuff he did for you, Peter. Go. I don't have time to fucking give you 3 reasons you don't like Trump. Epstein. That's enough. For a dude who values society, Epstein is the line I draw. So, Peter, go to your channel and you make a million videos of everything Trump has done for your family, all right, and how great America he's made. Go do that. Okay? Fucking psycho. All right, guys. Have a blessed Sunday. Don't forget, for those Bible thumpers out there who use their cross as a shield, you should read what's on the inside of the Bible. All right. Much love, CJ. Good to see you this weekend. Good to see you. Much love. Make sure you hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, because I am live every single weekday. Today was a little bonus episode because I thought it was so funny. Elon Musk exposed himself and all his MAGA legion of Doge boys. Exposed them. They're all foreign assets, man. They're compromised. They're foreign agitators. They're whatever you want to call them. Foreign actors. And then immediately he redacted the new location setting. So funny. Where the account is based. Oh, we gotta take that back. Turns out all these America First accounts are in Bangladesh. Morons. Oh, Christ. So funny. So fun. Hey, what's up, Terry? Good to see you. Oh, man. So funny. So, yeah, I thought that was important because, you know, these MAGA influencers, it turns out, they don't have much influence. They're just fake Discord sowers. I want to see if I can play this without... but before we go, let me give you a little bit of an artist I love, and I hope you'll support. Go to his channel, link down below. The channel's name is Bunk Bed Coffin. You know, like bunk bed, coffin. I love that name. And he's an absolutely amazing artist. He gave me, he allowed me to use his music. And like I was saying earlier, I envision this show like my radio show. So if I can highlight artists, I want to. This is Bunk Bed Coffin. Link below to the song, Screaming Mime.
Try to get away from me if I can.
All right, guys, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.